Hello. How are you? You don't like watching this?
No, I don't eat meat.
Oh, don't you? Why don't you eat meat?
Because I don't like the way it's farmed, and I don't like the way that we don't need to. There's plenty of alternatives that we can eat
Exactly.
that give
Yeah.
you the same
Yeah.
benefits. And I do eat eggs and I do eat milk. I can't vegan. I find hard. Vegetarian.
What?
I like cheese. I don't think it. I mean, I buy organic milk. I buy milk. I try to eat
Why do you do that? Why do you buy organic milk and not conventional milk? Tell me.
because I think that the animals will be treated better if it's organic. They're not injected with antibiotics and different.
Why do you believe that they will be treated better because there's an organic label on there? Do you trust?
don't
Do you
know.
trust the label?
Yeah, I live part of the time between in London and the Isle of Man, and on the Isle of Man it's all grass there. The animals are all grass fed. They graze out in the fields. The milk there is from the cows that I can see, grazing on the hillside. I buy sheep's milk as well, and there's sheep grazing out on the pastures. So
Yeah,
I feel they have a nicer life. They're not kept in in a barn, or they're not intensively farmed that way.
Yeah.
I would eat meat if it was, I knew that the animal would have a nice life.
How do you know though? That's what I'm. My answer is how do you know? Because there's animals all on the grass here, but what is it like in the slaughterhouse for the organic milk cows?
I just think they die naturally. The organic milk
No, they
cows.
don't. I know you'd like to think that. Come over here. Wait a second. I think I've done. We've done investigations into RSPCA assured dairy farms,
Yeah.
and they're just as horrible as.
They?
Oh wait, I don't. It's not up on the screen now. But yeah, you like to think they actually are all slaughtered. All of them. All the milk cows, their calves are slaughtered. This is the sheep. Yeah, but the milk cows go to the same slaughterhouse as the beef cows, and the egg-laying hens go to the same slaughterhouse as the meat hens.
Yeah. No, it's horrible. I mean, I eat. I haven't eaten meat or fish for.
Which is
Very
and that's a good thing.
Very-
But the people that do eat meat, they eat the meat that comes from the dairy cows that are slaughtered because of the milk that you buy. So if we don't eat meat for ethics, right, because we want to help the animals, which is a good thing to do. But when you drink milk, those cows go to the slaughterhouse because we buy the milk. So someone else is eating those cows because they go to the
I
slaughterhouse.
suppose also it's hard to get, as you get older, to get the kind of amount of protein that you need from. You have to eat a lot of beans and lentils and tofu to have.
You already don't eat meat.
No, but I get a certain amount of. I mean, I make my own kefir, so
Okay.
So I need for your microbiome. It's really important to have that different bacteria, and you can't make. You can make water kefir, but it doesn't have any.
What is it called? Water.
Kefir.
Yeah, what is it called? Water kefir.
Water kefir. You make
With
it-
water?
Yeah, you make it with the sugar water, and then the bacteria and the yeast eat the sugar, and it has a certain amount of probiotic in there, but nowhere near the amount of probiotics that milk kefir has. So I use the milk to make kefir, and I make homemade yogurt with it as
Okay.
well. So a natural live yogurt, because I can't find an alternative to give me that
What
kind
do you
of
need for?
diversity.
What do you think you need? So can you make it with plant milk? Do you think?
No.
Oh really?
Because the bacteria and yeast feed off of the lactose in the milk, and that's what feeds it to make the kefir. So there isn't a way to. I mean, I have researched it.
So no sugar, the sugar in, you can't add sugar in it. Lactose
No.
is just the sugar, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't.
So it's like lactobacillus is the bacteria you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
And about 50 different types of bacteria and yeast that are in a kefir. That it's really important for your microbiome.
can I ask you then? Can I ask you? Do you think that you getting those like bacteria for whatever health benefit you get out of it, like, do you think that outweighs like the cow having to be slaughtered in a slaughterhouse?
I think there has to be a certain, I don't like the idea, no, but I think I do my best in life to not eat meat and to do.
No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Some, I would eat honey as well, because You know, I know vegans don't eat honey either, and
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
but then there's also, you know, things like, you know, they eat a lot of avocado, and then they bring
Some
bees
do.
in.
Yeah.
A lot, but then they bring bees in to pollinate the avocado crops, and there's nothing. Once that crop is finished, there's nothing else growing in the area.
Where do they get the bees from? Do you know?
They probably breed them. They probably breed
Yeah, but who breeds them? Do you think?
beekeepers.
Yeah, honey beekeepers.
Yeah.
So that's another reason to boycott honey, isn't it?
Yeah, but the
Without-
avocados. But then would you not eat avocados either because they bring the bees in?
No, I don't really see I haven't really heard a good strong argument to boycott avocados yet, because
Well, the bees all die after the avocado harvest. There's nothing else for them to feed on because, you know, in the kind of
no, they don't
hundreds of
die. Oh,
miles.
some die, but bees die when they pollinate in nature as well. They die of basically mites and things like that. But I'm saying like that they rent the bees from the honey industry, and then they allow the bees to go and pollinate, and they come back to the hives. Some die. Bees die out in nature all the time. But then they take those bees back to the honey industry to use them for the honey. So that industry actually exists because of the honey industry.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have anything. You wouldn't have the bees to pollinate the avocados either, because they need that.
But do
you
you-
won't have in nature. There aren't enough to pollinate the crops.
Yeah, but
In
I mean,
huge
do
amounts.
you think because like avocados do that, right? Let's just say avocado. Let's say it's wrong. Let's just say you're right. It's bad to eat avocados. Do you think I should now eat meat because of that?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, because
I
like if
think
there's
you just have to have a balance. You have to do, you have to do the best that you can as a human being, and you have to be comfortable with yourself for doing it. Not everyone's going to be perfect. You
no,
can't be
of course not.
perfect
I'm
all
not.
the
No,
time.
no one's asking anyone to be perfect. All I'm asking is that if you avoid meat for ethics, which is good, and all those cows go to the slaughterhouse to be minced up into burgers and they don't want to die. For myself, even if I knew that it would take 10 years off of my life, I couldn't watch cows be slaughtered day in, day out just so I could have yogurt. I just couldn't live like that. It would eat me up inside. But I think like if it was you on the other side of that, like the gun, and I said to you, well, I need your milk to make my bacteria, I don't think it would be good enough for you either. They're both just as bad as each other for the animal that's being slaughtered. So that's all.
But then there's also, humans in the world. Do you feel the same way about humans that have been
I do.
dying in,
Yeah, I do.
famine? And
But I don't kill them for my milk. That's what I'm
some
saying.
people, that are like, will go on all these marches for animals, yet they have no compassion. There are people I know that have got no compassion about, they're vegan and they're very, just people I know.
Yeah, because I'm
generally.
in the vegan movement here. But I'm a very well-known vegan actually, and
And-
almost every vegan I've ever met against racism, against war, against humans being killed and raped and murdered, against human slavery,
But
and
they
they also
also-
just when they go to the shop they just don't buy milk.
But they'd also be on the march for, the pro-Palestinians. The same people. I've got friends who are vegans, and that yet
Sorry?
they don't care what happens to, the Jews in, that were slaughtered on October the 7th. They've got no compassion. They go, well, they were just Jews.
Who says that?
I met people who were on this, and
I mean, that's a strong claim. I mean,
yeah, no,
I mean, they're
I've spoken to them. I live in East London. I see.
and someone said they are just Jews.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I've never seen that kind of anti-Semitism in the vegan movement. I mean, I've seen people be pro-Palestine, but that's because children are just being bombed en masse, by huge planes flying over their head, and they have no voice because they're just being completely slaughtered by Israel constantly. And I've been to Israel twice, and there's a big vegan movement in Israel too. But I don't agree with what the IDF do. I don't agree with what the Israel government do. But I don't agree with anti-Semitism either. And I also don't buy milk where cows are being slaughtered. And I think you can be against oppression no matter who's doing it. So you can be against war crimes like October the 7th, but also recognise that there were war crimes before October the 7th that led to that, with kids being splattered by bombs their whole entire life. And you can see how bad things take place in war-torn areas, right? And at the same time, when you go to the store, buy soy milk over dairy milk without it even causing a sweat. This is we're talking about a minimal thing.
Going back to soy, most of the soybeans have been genetically modified.
That most of those the genetically modified soy in this country go to animal feed, to feed chickens. But we tend to eat more of the soy from Europe, and it's more organic soy actually. Human, no, it is. It is.
You don't know. You don't know.
No, it is.
It gets mixed.
No, there's statistics on it.
If you read the thing on oat milk and soya milk and all these different milks,
No, they're not GM. They tend not to use GM soy for human consumption in this country and around in Europe. No, they don't. They
anyway,
they
I
don't.
have to go anyway, but it's
All
good
right.
to talk.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. Yeah, so what I found with this woman was that she started to go searching. She started to go searching for different things like avocados, GM soy, October 7th, which no one's actually ever brought that up to me in a vegan discussion before. But all to kind of take away accountability for buying milk that causes dairy cows to be slaughtered in a slaughterhouse. A good faith person who's actually honest would actually just say, I know that's really bad they're slaughtered. I don't actually care enough to change that fact. I don't actually care enough to buy soy milk over cow's milk because I don't think their lives actually matter as much as getting a certain bacteria. Someone who actually has compassion would just simply extend their compassion for the animals killed, slaughtered for meat, to the animals slaughtered for her organic dairy, right? I found that she spent more time trying to justify her behavior by searching for things that are also bad to try to say to me the kind of thing like, you're kind of a hypocrite if you eat avocados, or you're kind of a hypocrite if you support Palestine or whatever, and therefore I'm okay to kill cows for dairy because you do something bad too.